Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is presented by Bell Tire. Well, the best kind of win is a walk-off win, and yesterday Miguel Cabrera provided the 7th walk-off win of his career. It sparked a celebration. The Tigers would go on to win, and everybody was happy yesterday. Another great day for baseball here at Comerica Park. Crowd filing in. Final game in this series featuring the Texas Rangers and your Detroit Tigers. Hi again, everyone. Welcome to Tigers Baseball. Mario and Pemba, glad to have you with us for the series finale here today. Rod Allen joins us in a moment. The Tigers, a big win yesterday. Their best player was right in the middle of the party, Miguel Cabrera. When he was signed back in December of 2007, the Tigers knew they were getting a very good player, but also a clutch player. And Miguel Cabrera's gotten off to a fabulous start this season in top 5 in all of these categories. You look at the slugging percentage at .769. That is the best in the American League. Cabrera, after a very strong spring training, has parlayed that into a strong start to the 2011 season. So Miguel back in the middle of the Tigers lineup today as they go for 2 out of 3 and a 500 road trip heading out to the West Coast. Game 3 in the series coming up. In the meantime, we send you back to the Call Sam studios now, and here's Mickey York. It is a beautiful April day in the D, and if Detroit combines for 3 or more home runs in this game, bring a copy of the box score to a participating Arby's location tomorrow and get a free small order of curly fries. You can find the box score, of course, at foxsportsdetroit.com. Here's the starting lineup today for the visiting Texas Rangers, presented by your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. It looks like this. Kinsler, Andrus, and Young are your top 3. Beltre will clean up at third base, followed by Nelson Cruz. David Murphy is out at left, and your bottom 3 today features Mike Napoli, Mitch Moreland, and Julio Borbon. Here is the scouting report on Max Scherzer. It is presented to you by Scott's Lawn Pro.
At times, Max can have an overpowering fastball, especially when he gets the ball up in the strike zone. It kind of rides up against the right-handers. He throws from a tricky arm slot, which makes him difficult for right-handers and left-handers. And he pitches very well in this park because, by and large, he's a fly ball pitcher.
And so here we go in Game 3 in the series. Ian Kinsler leads it off for the Texas Rangers. They'll be followed by Elvis Andrus and Michael Young. The Rangers have had to switch around their lineup a bit today with the entry to Josh Hamilton. And very quickly, Scherzer hits Ian Kinsler with the second pitch of the game. So the leadoff man is aboard for Texas.
It's a breaking ball that he appeared to hang on to a little bit too long. And if you're a young kid at home, the way that Kinsler takes this pitch is exactly the way you want to take it. Turn that left shoulder back toward the catcher to make sure you get hit in the back instead of getting hit in the chest.
So Scherzer now will face Elvis Andrus. It is a sparkling day here in the Motor City. They tell us 58 degrees our game time temperature. And also the skies are very clear today. Perfect day. Andrus takes a ball up high, 1-0.
Well, one of the things that Scherzer is going to have to do today, because the Rangers have quite a few guys that can steal bases. Kinsler would be one of those guys. He has to give Avila some time to throw. They haven't given him much time to throw so far this year.
Here is Scherzer's 1-0, and it's high again. 2 balls, no strikes on Andrus. Elvis right now in a bit of a slump to start the year. He is 2 for his last 22, and because of that, his average is at a low mark of 200 right now. Each team with a victory in this series. The 2-0 is a strike called up with the right hand. Goes Mike Escobar. 2 balls, 1 strike. Rangers come into play today at 9-2, and the Tigers at 4-7. A chance to get to 500 for this homestand before they hit the road. And time called now. Scherzer taking too long. He's got Kinsler down there at first base, and he is doing his best to hold him on.
Well, Scherzer did exactly as he wanted to do and accomplished what he wanted to accomplish. He held the ball long enough for Andrus to call timeout. He's trying to disrupt the timing of the base runner, Kinsler.
Now the 2-1, and that's inside. 3 balls and 1 strike. Andrus in the series just 1 for 7. He's slick fielding shortstop, just 22 years of age for the Rangers. And what an acquisition he turned out to be in the Mark Teixeira deal. All-star last year for Texas. 3-1 pitch. Fouled off. 3-2 on Andrus. And when you can find a shortstop that's young and as good as Elvis Andrus, you've got to feel good as an organization that you've pretty much plugged a hole for the next, well, quite a few years at a very critical position.
He's a really nice asset. Tremendous range, laterally to the left and the right. Has real good speed. And he's going to hit because he's hit in the past. He was Rookie of the Year, and he made the All-Star team last year. So Ron Washington not worried about him.
3-2 pitch with the runner going. It's shot in the air toward right. Bosch coming over. It's going to drop foul. Just foul down the right field line. Bosch out in right field today. Maglio out of the lineup again this afternoon. They're hoping that he will be back in the lineup sometime in the West Coast swing and hopefully in that series against the Oakland Athletics. But that is continuing to be a big bat out of the lineup for manager Jim Leyland.
Just watching Kinsler take off on that 3-2 pitch. He didn't get a very good jump against Scherzer. Should Andrus strike out, Avila will have time to throw him out at second base.
Kinsler hit by the pitch to start this game off. 3-2 on Elvis Andrus. A little bit of a breeze here today. It was very windy yesterday and the first game in the series. Runner goes on 3-2, and again it's shot down the right field line, and again it will go foul.
We talked about this Rangers team a couple of days ago, and we talked about the New York Yankees and the patience that the Yankees display. They wear you down usually by the 5th inning, and they get into your bullpen. The Rangers aren't as patient, but they foul off a lot of pitches with 2 strikes.
And as a result, the pitch count is often elevated early for the starter, and I guess the aim is always to get into that middle relief as often as you can. Kinsler on the move again, and he walked him, ball 4. So Scherzer starts off a little bit slow here today. Hit, batter, and a walk.
Let's take a look at the Tigers defensively behind Max Scherzer, always presented by the fine folks at Beaumont Hospitals. You got Rayburn, Jackson, Bosch in the outfield. The infield reads Inge, Peralta, Rhymes, Cabrera. And you already know that the battery this afternoon is Avila and Max Scherzer.
And Scherzer now will have to deal with the number 3 hitter, Michael Young, who's had himself a tremendous series. 5 for 7 with a couple of RBIs. He's back at the DH spot here this afternoon. Young batting in the 3 spot. He's also scored 3 runs. And after all of the offseason turmoil surrounding Michael Young with the acquisition of Beltre, where would Young play? And they have found several spots for him. And there was a lot of trade talk that he would be dealt away sometime this winter, but that never materialized.
Well, you could kind of understand why Young wasn't happy. A few years back when they acquired Soriano, he moved from second base to shortstop, and then when they wanted to bring Andrews to the big leagues, Young was coming off another all-star season where he won a gold glove, and he had to move from short to third. So you can understand in the offseason this year why he was a little disgruntled.
Lifted in the air and hit pretty well to right center field. Playable, though. Bosch cruising over. He'll make the catch. Kinsler tagging. So is Andrews. The throw comes to third base. Well, time now for the Farmers Insurance report card. And it has to do with Max Scherzer here this afternoon. Scherzer career against Texas. We talked about these numbers a little bit in the pregame show today. 2-0 record with a 2.25 ERA and 19 strikeouts.
They have quite a few right-handed batters, and Scherzer in his big league career has been dominant against right-handed hitters.
We'll bring up Adrian Beltre. Both runners moved up on that fly ball to right field. Beltre takes inside 1-0.
Good base running by Andrews on first base. And if you're Brennan Bosch, you have to make sure when you throw this ball to third base, you're not going to get Kinsler, but you have to throw it low enough to where the guy that's down first base doesn't read that throw as it comes out of your hand, and he doesn't advance 90 feet.
So in essence, that was Andrews noticing that ball was not going to hit the cutoff man, and he had a free ride to second base.
Yes, but there's none of that if Bosch throws the ball low enough to where it can be cut.
Here's Beltre now with a chance to give the Rangers an early lead. Beltre's hit safely in his last 4. With the deletion of Hamilton from their lineup, they will need some added production from some of their bigger bats. Beltre, of course, is one of them. He's off to a nice start in terms of driving in runs. He has knocked in 9 so far this year. And he has power. 8 seasons of 20 or more. Scherzer trying to battle out of an early jam here. Avila flashing the signals. Way high.
It looks like Scherzer's trying to work up in the strike zone with his fastball, but he's a little bit too high. You have to be in an area where you at least entice the hitters into thinking about swinging. Right now, his balls are so high, they're letting it go as soon as the ball comes out of his hand.
Swing and a miss, and Beltre goes down. That's a huge out.
Nice change piece. Scherzer not afraid Even though he's a right-hander and the change fades naturally into the right-hander's happy zone, he's not afraid to throw that pitch. Really good look there in Fox mode. See the grip and everything.
So with 2 outs, here comes another power source, Nelson Cruz. Scherzer in his last start threw 103 pitches in 6 innings of work against Kansas City. Gave up just 1 run and struck out 3 in that game.
And Scherzer needs to be careful here with Cruz. Cruz leads their team in home runs and RBIs. And you have a real safe parking spot for him down at first base, even though Murphy is a left-handed hitter in the on-deck circle. Be careful.
Big swing, 1-1 on Cruz. Fastball from Scherzer at 94. There's Murphy lurking on deck. Second and third, they have Kinsler and Andrews aboard. And the 1-1. Now 1-2. Max last year with 12 wins, 184 strikeouts. Both of those were career highs in 2010. It was his second half of last year that got Tigers fans very excited about the possibility of Scherzer and Verlander at the top of your rotation. Missed it high again. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Just missed, and the count fills at 3-2, and Scherzer looked away after delivering that last pitch. Boy, did that look good. Just a tad inside, apparently. Now the 3-2. Swing and a tip into the glove, and Scherzer comes back and strikes out a pair. Rangers lead 2 men in scoring position. Down goes Cruz, still no score. Back in the Tigers lineup after winning it yesterday for the Tigers. Their lineup today is presented by Big Boy. Jackson, Rhymes, Rayburn are your top 3 here this afternoon. Cabrera smack dab in the middle. Victor Martinez, the DH. Brennan Bosch in right. And you've got Peralta, Avila, and Inge at the bottom. The Bernstein Advantage brings you the scouting report on Dave Bush. Get the Bernstein Advantage. We go to bat for you.
Hey, Dave Bush is making a spot start here this afternoon for Ron Washington, which means it's pretty much going to be a bullpen day because he only logged 14 innings in spring training, and he has yet to appear in a game in 2011.
And so he is ready to go to work. 6'2", 205 out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. First pitch is in for a strike on Austin Jackson.
He's not a hard thrower. Most of his fastballs are away from the right-handed batters. Very seldom does he touch 90 miles an hour. He's got a curve. He's got a slider. He has a change.
31 years of age, Dave Bush. Rangers have had some pretty good pitching in this series. They've had good pitching all season long. They had a doubleheader earlier this year, which threw their rotation out of whack. Here's a good bender that's in for a strike.
We will see quite a few of those this afternoon. It's only at 68 miles an hour, but he's got really good control with that pitch.
Jackson, meanwhile, has hit safely in his last 3, trying to bust out of a season starting slump. And the 1-2. Jackson 2 out of 4 in the series. He had a walk in the 9th inning yesterday, which helped set up the winning run. Of course, it was delivered by Cabrera, but there were a couple of really key at bats in that frame, including Jackson's walk and Rayburn's walk. Grounded toward third. Behind the bag is Beltre.
Let's take a look at the Rangers defensively, presented by Tim Horton. In the outfield is Murphy, Bourbon, and Cruz. In the infield, they have 3 All-Stars, Beltre, Andrews, and Kinsler, all on the American League All-Star team last year. Mitch Moreland, the youngster, at first. Napoli, the former Angel, is behind the plate today.
Will Rhymes will step in now with 1 out. Rhymes back at second base today. Santiago played yesterday. I saw Rhymes' average there. It's just 182, but he has had some really bad luck. Jim Leland was talking about this before the game. Rhymes has hit some balls really hard to start this year. We talk about the fact that he rarely strikes out, but he has not been able to find the open spaces in the field with his line drives. The 1-0 misses outside. 2-0 on Rhymes. Will in the series 0 for 4. The 2-0 pitch is outside. 3-0. There was talk right about Rhymes and his ability. Everybody thought he could hit at this level. It was whether or not he could play defensively at second base, and I think he's looked pretty good out there so far.
He's got great range. He's made some dazzling plays already. To his left, to his right, diving, getting up, throwing guys out at first base. He's a good baseball player.
And of course, he won the job in spring training over Scott Sizemore, who was sent down, and over Danny Wirth as well. Still waiting on the return of Carlos Guillen. Nothing a whole lot new to report on Carlos. 3-2 now on Rhymes.
Tigers are going to have to display some patience against Bush. He's one of those guys that's going to pick on the corners. That slow breaking ball. He's the kind of pitcher that on occasion gives Detroit hitters fits.
3-2 pitch. Down the left field line. That is a fair ball. Base hit. So Rhymes goes the other way, and the Tigers have their first hit today. He's going to bring up Ryan Rayburn. Well, you might not see a better overall game than you saw yesterday out of Rayburn. On base 3 times, scored twice, knocked 1 in, had a great catch. And with Maglio out of the lineup, Rayburn hitting third in this game today. Same spot he was in yesterday. Rhymes has not run a whole lot in his major league career. That may change a little bit more this year as he gets more comfortable. He has 1 steal so far this season and just 1 attempt. That floats in for a strike. 0-1 on Rayburn. Rayburn 3 for 5 in the series, had a double in game 1 in the 9th inning. Right back up the middle into center field. Another hit for Rayburn. Rhymes will stop at second base. He's going to bring up Cabrera. Well, I guess you have to have guys set up. The big fella, Miguel Cabrera, and Bosch and Rayburn have done a pretty good job in the 3 slot or above this year.
And when they're getting on, as you can see, the big fella does his best work, hitting .500 with 3 home runs and 8 driven in when Bosch and Rayburn are batting third.
Fouled back out of play, 0-1.
You know, so much was made of the fact in the offseason who would bat behind Cabrera. But we need to look no further than last year when Maglio Ordonez was off to a sizzling start and then broke his ankle, and the numbers went down. Maglio scored 56 runs before he broke his ankle, and guess who was driving him in most of the time?
This guy right here. Here's the 0-1. Driven high in the air to center field. This ball is hit a ton, way back to the warning track and caught by Bourbon. Man, did he kill that thing. To third base goes Rhymes. I'm not sure if there's another park that probably holds that. It's 420 to dead center and a bit of a win today.
Took the words right out of my mouth. In any other yard, Cabrera is trotting around the bases, and the Tigers have 3 runs on the board.
What it turned out to be a somewhat routine play for Bourbon. 2 gone, and now Victor Martinez with runners at the corners. Victor off to a little bit of a slow start, 220. He is hitless in this series. That, however, will change as this season progresses. This guy is a .300 career hitter.
It looked like he was starting to heat up in that Baltimore Orioles series. He had some really good at-bats. He played long ball. He doubled. He looked very confident, and he had some quickness in his swing. However, coming back to Comerica Park in this series, bats kind of slowed down once again.
Soft liner to short and caught there by Elvis Andrus to retire the side. So both teams threaten. Neither team scores. We go to the second.
MVP, it's a crushing blow, and it's going to hurt your team regardless, and you're missing a huge piece. But the type of character we have and the type of resiliency we have on this team, I don't think that we have anything to worry about.
The thoughts of David Murphy, who leads it off here in the second inning on losing Josh Hamilton, their MVP.
One thing Ron Washington did last year when Hamilton didn't play pretty much the last month of the year is he would not let his team use that as an excuse for not finishing off winning that division. And, of course, they went all the way to the World Series.
Yeah, and you can say this team's had a lot of experience in playing without perhaps their best player. And certainly last year was, I think, at the beginning of the year and the end of the year was a good example of that. So they know how to win despite the fact that they are without a huge bat. Murphy behind in the count, 1-2. And Scherzer misses low and in. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Any way you slice it, though, a guy that hits in the 350s, knocks in all those runs, and can play the defense that he does really is a blow to your team. Lined and dropped by Inge. It'll roll into short left field, and Murphy is aboard.
I'm not so sure what happened there.
Did he not see it? Pick it up late?
It looked like he saw it and then he lost it because Inge makes this play. So we'll take another look at it. It's almost like the last moment he kind of shied away from it. I don't think he saw it.
No, I think you're right. He makes that play in his sleep. Leadoff man is on. Here's Mike Napoli, wearing a new uniform this year. The Angels actually dealt Napoli to the Toronto Blue Jays in the Vernon Wells deal, and then Toronto just flipped him to Texas. He'll provide some power, the ability to play first and catch.
He's one of those lift and separate kind of guys, and very few ground balls, mostly fly balls off the bat of Napoli.
That's fouled back out of play. You can tell who those guys are, the lift and separate guys, by the way they wear their jersey. The top button is unbuttoned. He's just ready to hack.
Yeah, he's doing some bench pressing.
Napoli left the Angels as their all-time home run leader at the catching position. (0-2) on Mike Napoli. Ooh, inside as Scherzer backs him out of there. 1-2. They ruled that play, by the way, on Inge as an error, and that is the first error of the series by either team. Cleanly played for the most part. Little pop-up, foul ground, Cabrera. Over the shoulder grab.
You know, we talked about Scherzer and how tough he can be on right-handed batters. I'm going to show you why. He's on the third base side of the rubber first and foremost, but take a look at where the arm is. The arm is a low three-quarter arm slot, and this is what the hitter sees. This is basically behind the hitter. The right-handed batter I'm talking about, he's throwing across his body, and when he lets that fastball go, it's very tough for the right-handers to pick up, and that's why he's been so dominant in his young career against right-handed batters.
Here's Mitch Moreland with 1 out. Moreland has hit safely in 6 in a row. Murphy at first base, reaching on the air by Brandon Inge. There's a strike called up to the right hand. Again goes Mike Escobar. 0-1 on Mitch Moreland. 3 for 7, couple of doubles in the series for Moreland. And back out there at first base again today. He had a fabulous spring camp this year. He hit over 400 in spring training for Texas. Scherzer trying to nip the outside corner.
Both of these teams have the kind of lineups where you can hide a young player. You can put him down at the bottom of your batting order because you've got so many other offensive weapons. It allows the younger players to just relax a little bit and stay within themselves, and Moreland has done a very nice job of that since coming to the big leagues. He's been a nice performer.
Rolled foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes. How many times do you see the young guy come up, the phenom come up in a lineup that is not quite as talented? They're hitting 3rd, 4th, 5th, or 6th, and all of a sudden it's a much different feel for them.
Look no further than that Baltimore Orioles team who we just saw on the first road trip of the year. They had guys like Adam Jones. Of course, Markakis is a good player, but the youngster Wieters, they were pressed into the middle of that batting order last year, but not so much this year. Not with Derek Lee, not with Vladimir Guerrero. They got some big pieces in the middle. It's taking the pressure off those young kids.
Swing and a tip right at home plate.
Scherzer has a couple of different changeups. One, he throws early in the count, which has a little fading action away from the left-handers, down and into the right-handers. And then with 2 strikes, he throws a changeup that's a little harder. This one has more of a forkball bite to it. It kind of goes straight down in the strike zone, and he likes to get strikeouts with that particular changeup.
The 1-2. Well, we all know what Scherzer did after coming back from the minor leagues last year. He really lit it up. He was 11-7 after his brief stint at Toledo. More importantly, his ERA was 2.46. And maybe the one game that sticks out is the very first game he pitched after coming back from the minor leagues, the 14 strikeout game against the A's.
He was a little angry that night, wasn't he?
Was he? And it came in 6 innings. Swing and a miss, and Scherzer has himself another strikeout. That's his 3rd of the game. Your Panasonic Foxmo with another look.
Looking sweet.
Here's Bourbon, the number 9 hitter. Throw back. Bourbon is really struggling right now. He is hitless in the series, but beyond that, 1 for his last 16.
Take a look at his gear today. High pants leg, old school socks, old school stirrups.
Yeah, he's got the stirrups going. You don't see that very often anymore.
Look like a young Mickey Rivers.
Very good comparison.
He can run like Mickey Rivers, too.
Yes, he can.
He's got the old stirrups going today.
Who else wears the stirrups?
I don't see many guys wearing stirrups anymore.
No. I mean, Jim Leland's as old school as they come, and he doesn't wear the stirrups. Runner goes. Here comes the throw down to second, and it is not in time. Good throw, but just a tad tardy.
Well, as we talk often up here, most of the time the bases are stolen against a pitcher because this is pretty good footwork by Avila. And it's a really good throw down to second base, but Murphy gets a pretty good jump and able to steal that base. And really, you can't ask for a better ball to throw. It's up in the strike zone. Tag applied to the knee, but after the foot already on the bag.
A great shot at just how close that play was. Outside, 3-0 on Bourbon.
Ron Washington told me before the series started he had 5 guys in the starting lineup that had the green light, that could run at their leisure unless he gave them the stop sign, and Murphy was not one of those guys.
Well, Murphy has his 3rd steal. In scoring position now, the 3-0 pitch. 3-1 on Julio Bourbon.
In case you're wondering who they are, it's Kinsler, Andrews, Hamilton, who's not playing. He's on the disabled list. Beltre and Nelson Cruz are the 4 that are playing today that have the green light.
And he lost it. So Bourbon gets the walk. Of the guys you listed, Cruz comes as somewhat of a surprise.
He can run, but he comes to a surprise to me for the reason that he spent 3 stints on the disabled list last year with hamstring problems. So if I'm around Washington, I'm like, you just stay there and just hit. Don't need you to steal.
Well, here is Ian Kinsler now. This is the 2nd straight frame that the Rangers have put 2 men aboard. You've got Murphy and Bourbon. Kinsler takes strike 1. Hit by a pitch to start the game, but did not score. Kinsler started the season with a bang this year for Texas. He homered on opening day against John Lester of the Red Sox, and then he homered in the second day of the season against John Lackey. He's hit 4 home runs so far this season. Not a big guy in stature, but he has some pop in that bat. We talked about the fact that he's a former 30-30 guy.
Dead pull hitter. Right field somewhat foreign to Kinsler. He does most of his damage from second base over toward third base and left center field to left field.
2-1. Max thrown a lot of pitches early on in this game.
He hasn't found a real good arm slot, which is allowing him to throw the ball in the strike zone efficiently. 47 total pitches, 21 of which have missed the strike zone.
Kinsler takes inside, run it to 3-1. Jim Leyland said before the game today that everybody in his bullpen is available, and probably even Joaquin Benoit, who threw quite a few pitches in his 8th inning stint yesterday. Checked it, and he went. Escobar called that one, and Kinsler didn't like it.
That's pretty close. Pretty close. And I usually side with the hitter.
Here is Scherzer's 50th pitch of this ball game coming up. Runners going, and it's popped up. Shallow left field. The shortstop Peralta to the grass. And that is that. So once again, the Rangers strand 2. 1.5 in the books here today. No score. Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by Comerica Bank. Strength and stability since 1849. Dodge. Visit Dodge.com or see your local dealer today. And by Arby's Junior Buffalo Chicken Sandwich. New to Arby's value menu. Hurry, available for a limited time only. Beautiful day here at a beautiful ballpark, Comerica Park in downtown Detroit. No score in this series finale between the Rangers and the Tigers. Bosch leads it off for Detroit. He'll be followed by Peralta and then Avila. Dave Bush back to the hill. He gave up a couple of hits in that first, but no damage. A former Milwaukee Brewer. Last 5 seasons in Milwaukee. The 0-1. Soft liner to center. Bosch has a base hit. Third Tigers hit today already. bring up Johnny Peralta. Johnny at 0 for 5 in the series, still very solid .324 to begin the campaign. Swing and a miss. Peralta couldn't stay back on that breaking ball. 0-1. We've seen a lot of those already, haven't we?
He can command it, too. If you're Peralta, obviously you're looking for a first pitch fastball and not quite able to hold up on that real slow lollipop breaking ball at 68 miles an hour.
Runner goes and a good jump. Swing and a miss. Throw down is tardy. Little chance there for Napoli. Bosch had himself a really good jump.
Well, he picked the right pitch to run on. His second steal of the year after stealing 7 last year. Real slow breaking ball. Really nothing a Napoli could do.
Here's the 0-2. Check swing roller towards short. This will move the runner up at least. And Andrews throws out Peralta.
It's a nice read off of second base by Bosch. Usually ball hit directly at the shortstop. You're going to stay at second base, but he had a nice read on it. And he knew exactly where Andrews was playing, and he knew he could get to third base without a play being made on him. But rule of thumb, balls hit directly to the shortstop. Even though a check swing, unless you get a really good break, you have to stay put.
Ron Washington will pull the infield in. Avila stands in. Alex 0 for 3 in the series. He did lay down a critical sacrifice bunt in the 9th inning yesterday. There's a strike 0-1. Skipper said before the game today he was pondering what to do. He said it wasn't an easy call, but he just felt that he wanted to stay out of the double play. He wanted to get the guy to second base to give the team a little bit of momentum and get him up on the bench, a chance to win the game. And in the end, it worked out with Avila sacrificing. Breaking ball misses outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. I don't know. I guess I thought in my mind that was probably the best call to make. Although Avila is not, a guy like Santiago who routinely will drop down a bunt.
Well, what it does for Jim is if he does get in that situation again, he's not afraid to use Avila as far as bunting.
Snap throw to third, and Bosch gets back in there.
That's a planned play between Beltre and the catcher Napoli before the ball is even delivered. There's some kind of contact that's been made, and Beltre knows to get to the bag because Napoli's going to throw down there.
2-2 on Alex. Bush continues to flip that breaking ball up there. And the 2-2. Guy that throws that many breaking balls, Rod, I guess it makes an 88-mile-an-hour fastball seem, well, a little bit harder.
That much is true, but you also have quite a few guys in that Tigers dugout that are noticing exactly what we're noticing. And there are a couple of guys that will go up to the plate and look only for that breaking ball, and if he hangs it, some of the right-handed hitters can hit that ball into the seats in left field.
And he tipped it out of the glove of Napoli. Barely alive is Avila.
Bush, because he does not have an overpowering fastball, he pitches backwards. And what I mean by that, when he gets himself in predictable fastball counts, which would be 1-0, 2-1, 3-1, he tends to throw breaking balls in those counts. When he gets 2 strikes on you, that's when he tries to throw you a little fastball inside to try to sneak it by you.
He has thrown 27 pitches, 21 of them strikes. That's a really good ratio. The 2-2. He missed there. Fill it now 3-2.
He's like a right-handed Bruce Chin, who the Tigers saw a couple of days ago for the Kansas City Royals, who twirled a gem here at Comerica Park.
Yeah, that one didn't turn out too well. Bush was originally signed by the Jays as a 2nd-round pick back in 2002.
He used to throw harder. A lot harder.
Vila fouls it off. Well, in his days at Wake Forest, he was a first-team All-American as a closer there. So I assume that he was bringing it at that point. 3-2 here. Each team with some opportunities early in this game to get some runs. Neither team has scored yet. And another foul. 9 pitch at bat so far for Alex. Haynes will be next. Bush, a native of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, 31 years old. The Rangers actually signed him to a minor league deal this past January. Rolled slowly back to the mound, knocked down by Bush. He'll come home with it, the tag, and he's out. Bosch is cut down at home plate on a nice play by Dave Bush.
Well, before the pitch is even thrown, the runner on third has already determined, in this case being Bosch, that anything on the ground, they're going to try to steal a run. And a nice play by Bush, who didn't panic after he knocked the ball down, throwing from one knee.
I wonder if the run scores if that ball gets by the pitcher. Wasn't hit all that hard. He made a nice play to smother it, and so there are 2 outs now with the runner at first base, and here comes Inge. 0-1 on Brandon. He's 1 for 7 so far in the series. Meanwhile, Bush continues to throw strikes. 8 of 9 first pitch strikes already in this game. Tigers had 2 men out in the first. They had a leadoff single and a steal here in the second. Tigers came into this series really not swinging the bats all that well against Texas pitching. A .213 average as a team in this series, yet they have a chance to win 2 out of 3 with a victory today. Another bender misses outside, 2-1.
It would make that flight out to Oakland a lot more pleasant. About a 5-hour flight. You win the series, you get a win. Guys are in a much better mood.
Well, say what you will about the importance of games in April, but I still think that win yesterday can be one of those momentum turning wins, because if you lose yesterday's game, you've got no better than a 1 out of 3 in this series. Then you head to the West Coast. You still have some tough teams when you get back here, including Chicago.
That's right.
Here's the 3-1. Did he go? No, he did not. Eric Cooper said that he held up. So put 2 men aboard now for the Tigers. Let's take a moment to remind you can vote for your Tigers McDonald's Player of the Game, presented by the Quarter Pounder with cheese. Man, does that sound good. Using your cell phone, text Tigers followed by a space in the player's uniform number to 37338. And vote online at foxsportsdetroit.com.
That Chicago White Sox team is a really good team put together by Kenny Williams. A really good baseball team. They got Adam Dunn back yesterday as well.
Here's Austin Jackson. Have you heard anything on Jake Peavy and his return?
I read something where he was starting to throw, and he was in Birmingham or something like that. But that was about 3 or 4 days ago, where he was going to throw 75 pitches on the side, I believe. So I guess he's getting closer into coming back.
Jackson 0 for 1 with a ground out. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And one of the guys that has been carrying the White Sox from an offensive standpoint is Paul Konerko.
Oh, you're not kidding. What a start he has gotten off to.
He had a superior start last year as well. He's pretty much their captain. He's been there for quite some time.
Off the end of the bat, and the count goes to 1-2. Jackson.
Bush is one of those guys, if you're Jackson and you're having a little bit of a difficult time with your leg kick and the timing of that leg kick because it's a high leg kick, you might want to keep it closer to the ground. That way you get it down, it's firm, and then you just allow your hands to work for you. It's almost like a 2-strike approach all the time against a guy like Bush.
Well, Scherzer has thrown 50 pitches through 2 innings, and this will be the 40th pitch thrown by Dave Bush. And here it is. Jackson, the unquestioned catalyst of this Tigers offense. When he is really going, so are the Tigers.
That was put on display in yesterday's game in the very first inning when he tripled and scored. As he goes, do the Tigers.
Inside, 2-2. I still think Jackson has the makeup of a guy that can weather this kind of early storm and this kind of a slow start. He's still a very young player, but he's a really level-headed kid.
He's got tools. And one thing about a guy like Jackson, even if he's not swinging the bat and the way that you like to see him swing the bat, you know that he's not going to take that into the field with him. He's still going to make very good plays defensively.
High, 3 balls, 2 strikes on Austin, and that means with 2 outs, start the runners.
And there are some young players in the big leagues that really can't separate the two. If they're not swinging the bats all that well, then they kind of take that into the field, and they're not very successful out there.
Here's the 3-2 pitch. That is line foul down the third base side. Oh, was it close? Tim Timmons said it went outside of the chalk line.
He had a good look at it.
Good call. He was right there. That can almost hit him. Jackson thought he had one. That would have produced a run. And he lost it. Ball 4. Load the bases. Second walk given up by Dave Bush. And they come on consecutive hitters here in the second to load him up. Here comes Mike Maddox, the fine pitching coach of the Texas Rangers. These two are together in their days in Milwaukee, and in fact the Rangers signed Bush because of the recommendation of Maddox.
Hey fans, have your picnic at an upcoming Tigers game, as 2011 group tickets and party suites are on sale now. Groups of 15 or more get discount tickets. To select games, call 313-471-BALL or visit Tigers.com.
Max Scherzer hoping his teammates can get him some runs here. Scoreless in the second, but they're loaded now. We'll see if we can get a 2-out hit out of Will Rhymes. And he looks at strike 1.
Ron Washington knew going in that this would be a bullpen day where he'd need a lot of help for Dave Bush. But he was hoping not to use the entire bullpen because they go to New York for a 4-game series against the Yankees.
Oh, boy. That is chopped slowly. Well, 3 games are bad enough there in terms of keeping
it. It is 3. Excuse me. They got a day off tomorrow. Okay. It's 3-game series.
Right.
But that Yankees team, as we've already witnessed, they will really tax your pitching.
Meanwhile, 46 pitches now for Dave Bush. They're loaded up with Tigers. Rhymes hits a slow ground ball to the right side. It's gobbled up by Moreland. The pitcher covers, and the inning is over. Tigers leave them loaded, and you're watching Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit today, presented by Bell Tire. Making this Minnesota team, they started 4-6 to begin the year, and of course their bullpen not quite the same as it has been in the past.
I don't count them out. They're going to play the game correctly out of for their manager Ron Gardenhire, and even when we do count them out at the beginning of the year, somehow they always have something to say about who goes to the postseason.
Here comes Elvis Andrus to lead it off as we head to the 3rd in a scoreless game. Both teams have left some base runners out. The Tigers left them loaded in the bottom of the 2nd. Elvis Andrus walked in the 1st inning, did not score. Scherzer's 1-0 pitch. There's a strike on the outer edge, 1-1. Ron Washington has decided this year that he's really going to watch Andrus closely. He has given him the last 2 Sundays off because he felt that last year his young shortstop wore down a little bit toward the end of the season, so he's picking some more days this year to give him a rest. That's in the air to center. Hit pretty well, but Jackson on his horse is there. 1 gone.
Do you know the story on Ron Washington, how he got into pro ball?
I do not.
In 1970, he left high school in Louisiana, but only after appearing in a tryout in Louisiana. Kansas City Royals had a tryout. He was one of 156 participants that got a minor league contract.
Really?
He was a catcher at the time. So he's one of those guys that got into professional baseball as a catcher. I did not know that until he told me that yesterday. I knew he was in that baseball academy the Royals had.
There's a line drive down the right field line. It'll go to the corner. It's extra bases for Michael Young, who's on yet again in this series, and he will pull in with a 2-base hit.
He just keeps rolling, this Michael Young. But 1 out of 156. He went down to Florida. He played a couple of years as a catcher. He said he was too slim. He couldn't gain any weight. And that's when he started playing middle infield. Frank White also came out of that same academy in Kansas City. Joe Gates, I used to play with Joe Gates in the White Sox organization, also played in that same academy.
UL Washington?
Yeah.
He came out of that academy?
Yeah.
Now, if you were to ask, what position did Ron Washington break in as? Catcher would be last on my list.
Middle infielder. I've only known him as a middle infielder.
Here's Beltre.
But he's one of those guys that we can now add to the list of former catchers when we talk about catchers that are managing in the big leagues.
Yeah. And there are a boatload.
1 of 156, and he was the one chosen.
0-1 on Beltre. That's popped up foul back out of play. But the one thing we do know about Ron Washington, he's so well respected by the people that he has coached and managed in this game. Really well respected.
He was an outstanding third base coach in Oakland before getting an opportunity to manage Texas. Several of his infielders won Gold Gloves. Players manager.
Rangers trying to get this double in here with 1 out, 2 base hit by Young, who has 6 hits in the series. Beltre going fishing. And Scherzer comes up with another strikeout, number 4 in the afternoon.
Pretty good slide piece here by Maxwell. And a nice block by Avila. Look at Avila. Soften the body, bend over slightly at the waist. Ball hits the chest protector and falls right in front of you.
Not quite the same guy we saw behind the plate in the first 2 games of the year, is he?
He was bumming about that too. He wasn't hitting, but he didn't really care about his hitting. He was frustrated that he was allowing some balls to get through his legs.
Well, and he was told by a lot of folks, you know, technically those are pass, or I should say wild pitches. And he said, no, I consider them all pass balls. You should not allow a ball to get by you as a catcher. That is the goal, whether it's ruled a wild pitch or pass ball.
It's a good mindset to have.
Runner goes. Here comes the throw. It's going to be late. Big jump there by Young.
Cannot forget about any of these Texas Rangers. They haven't stolen a lot of bases this year because they really haven't had to, because they've been slugging the ball out of the ballpark. But no chance here for Avila. He has had really no chance to throw any of the base runners out this year so far. And he threw out, what, 31% last year?
Almost 32. Awfully good.
Second in the American League.
2 balls and 1 strike. Nelson Cruz, a strikeout victim back in the first inning. We've had runners galore on the bases today, yet no runs. Scherzer ready with the 2-1. Good pitch. 2-2 on Cruz.
You don't want to make a mistake to Cruz. He is a dangerous mistake hitter. I mean dangerous mistake hitter. But most guys in the big leagues are good hitters on mistakes, but he finds the seats on mistakes.
Swing and a miss, and Scherzer cuts him down with another strikeout. Max fans a pair in this inning, has 5 for the game. We go to the bottom of the 3rd. See you later. Sports Detroit is brought to you by AT&T and by your neighborhood Spartan stores. For locations, check out turntospartan.com. You cannot get a better day here in the Motor City. Temperature 61 right now, clear afternoon. Beautiful day for baseball. Tigers and Rangers wrapping up this series. And it's Ryan Rayburn, Miguel Cabrera, Victor Martinez against Dave Bush. Rayburn continues to swing it. Had a base hit back in the first inning, and now 4 for 6 in the series. The 0-1. No balls, 2 strikes.
And batting in that number 3 slot ahead of Miguel Cabrera. Yeah, probably the premier spot to hit in the big leagues right now. And Rayburn, when batting third, hitting over 500 this year. Over 500.
Takes an 0-2 pitch down low, 1-2. Well, Rayburn continues to be very versatile, although he has settled into that left field slot now for Jim Leland. He's played some second, played multiple infield positions. The catch he made yesterday was a dandy. Here's the 1-2. 2-2 on Ryan Rayburn. Big second half last year. Opened up the eyes of the Tigers brass. He got a 2-year deal in the offseason. Fouled off.
I think the Tigers going into this season envisioned Magglio Ordonez getting the bulk of the time in right field, which he probably will still get, but they were also looking at Bosch and Rayburn and playing that left field position, and if you add their numbers up from a season ago, they make a really good player, an all-star player.
They sure do. The 2-2. I mean, you combine the first half that Bosch had and the second half that Rayburn had. Awfully good player. And you can't say enough about versatility. The Tigers have some players that can play multiple positions. I think managers love to have as much versatility as possible. We'll get back out of play. 3-2, the count stays on Rayburn.
Well, before Jim Leland got this gig in Detroit, his other managerial stints, Pittsburgh, Florida, Colorado, as you know, all in the senior circuit. So there's still a part of him that likes that National League style of baseball.
Another foul. There's the skipper. A really big win for his team yesterday, and you could tell in his demeanor this morning it was somewhat critical for his team to get that victory yesterday. And now he's just 3 away from 1,500. Good for Antonio Russo, the most among actives.
Jim walked away from the game for about 6 years, too.
Yeah, that's true.
Think of how many wins he'd have now had he continued to manage.
He talks to LaRusso almost on a daily basis. Here comes the 10th pitch in this at bat. Oh, look out. He buzzed his tower, and Rayburn gets a walk. So another base runner for Detroit. They left him loaded in the second, and now Miguel Cabrera stands in. 4 for 9 in the series for Cabrera. Ball 1. Tigers had 3 hits in this game. They had 2 of them in the first inning. They had 2 walks and a hit in the second. So Dave Bush has been walking a very fine line so far in this game. But then again, so has Max Scherzer. Swing and a miss. 1-1 on Cabrera. Cabrera's eyes just light up every time he sees Texas. 366 career average against the Rangers. Rayburn gets back. 1-2 on Miguel.
Bush, so far in this at bat to Cabrera, has done a very nice job of changing his eye level. The very first pitch was up. It was by design. He knew Cabrera wouldn't swing, but he was able to get back down to the bottom of the strike zone with a couple of breaking balls that Cabrera has swung through.
And the 1-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Miguel. He's off to another great start here in the month of April, but then again, that's nothing new for the big fella. Some of the best April starts among active players. No surprise that Pujols is on that list as well.
Joe Mauer.
I often wonder the type of numbers a guy like Cabrera would put up, say, like at Camden Yards, or Rangers Ballpark in Arlington, or Coors Field. Some of the better hitting ballparks around the big leagues. I mean, you've got to remember, this guy plays in a stadium where it's 420 to dead center.
He hit a ball his first time up that would have been a home run in any other ballpark in the United States.
That is true. Crushed one to dead center field back in the first inning. Two on Cabrera. Rayburn led it off by reaching here in the third. Bouncing ball, third base side. Beltre gobbles. And out at second base. Oh, it was close. Rayburn disagrees with the call. A short hop played nicely by Beltre, and that was a close play.
It's a gutsy play by Beltre, but he didn't panic. He had in his mind all along that if he got the ball on the ground, he was going to try to get the force out. And it didn't even you don't get any closer than this.
I thought it was safe. Hard to tell from that angle. Foxmo never lies.
Wow, he's way safe.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, that's a really bad call. Wow.
Well, 1 on, 1 out. There's Victor Martinez. Got to get Victor going. He is 0 for 1 in this game.
Here, Ron Washington elects to play the youngster Moreland, the first baseman behind Cabrera, with the left-handed swinging Victor Martinez in the batter's box. And should he hook one down there, it gives Moreland a little bit more time to make a play. And the big fella, he doesn't steal many bases.
One ball, 1 strike. And Victor Martinez may have knocked that one off his foot.
Ouch.
So he's taking a few extra minutes, hoping the pain will subside.
Pretty big swing here by Martinez. Look where his front foot ends up at. Now that's way too much aggression on the front side. That's one of the reasons why he rolled over on that pitch. You can see all of his balance, all of his weight shift, the momentum. Way off balance there. Too big a swing there by Victor.
Back out of play, 1 and 2.
You don't think a guy like Victor would press a little bit because he's off to a 2-14 start and has been And well documented the fact that they brought him here to protect Cabrera.
You know what? He's a veteran. He's a career 300 hitter. But you know what? I think it's only human nature to press.
I do too.
I don't care who you are and what you've done. I think it is only human nature. And he may be doing just a bit of that right now.
A couple of days ago, I noticed on that one at bat where Ron Washington walked Cabrera and put the tying run on. Victor grounded out on a 2-0 pitch to Kinsler. And he looked like he rolled over. Too much aggression for me on that pitch.
Runner going, and it's fouled back. Cabrera was rumbling to second base. So he'll head back.
He wasn't running. He was rumbling.
He was rumbling. He wasn't very smooth. It wasn't a glide. It was more of a rumble.
He could play for me. All day, every day.
He's one of the best. One and two on Martinez. We're at the bottom of the third in a scoreless game so far. And that'll get back out of play. We are in the third inning, the bottom of the third. We've already seen over 130 pitches in this game. And the weird thing is that neither team has a run.
No clutch hitting so far in this one.
Bush is heading towards 70 pitches here in the third. And as you mentioned, on a bullpen day for them, making a spot start. They were hoping that he would be a little bit more economical early in this game. Driven high in the air, right center field, and Barbone getting under it. And Cabrera retreats. There are two gone now. That'll bring up Bosch. Here's Bosch with two away, who singled and stole a base back in the first. That's when the Tigers loaded the bags. They also picked up a couple of walks, but Bush got Rhymes to bounce out. Driven down the right field line. It'll hook, and that will go foul. 0-1 on Bosch. And even 70 pitches for Dave Bush. That used to be about just how many Greg Maddux would need for a complete game. Maybe 10 or 15 more, but that was it.
Yep.
The 0-1. The Adam lunging into left center field. It's carrying a bit, but Barbone is there. And the side retired. No runs, a walk. Tigers leave a man on our way to the fourth inning at Comerica. Fans, don't forget, a big April in the D Wednesday continues tonight with the Red Wings opener in the Stanley Cup playoffs and the final game of the season for the Pistons as well. For a complete April in the D telecast schedule, check it out online at foxsportsdetroit.com. Going to be in Oakland tomorrow for game 1 in that series against the Athletics. A whole lot going on, as it normally is here around these parts in the month of April. No score as we head to the 4th inning, and it's going to be Murphy leading it off, then Napoli, and then Moreland against Max Scherzer. Excited about getting out to the West Coast for the first time?
Always. I love the West Coast. It's always nice to go to Oakland. And we stay in San Francisco, so it's pretty nice. Seattle's a beautiful place.
It sure is. Great ballpark as well. 2-1 on David Murphy. How long does it usually take you to get adjusted to the time difference? It takes me a couple days.
Me too. Yeah. I'm not going to sit here and say it doesn't.
High pop up into shallow left center field. Here comes Austin Jackson to make the play, and Murphy is out of there. One gone.
4 games in Oakland. They got a good pitching staff as well. Some believe their starting rotation may be one of the better starting staffs. They're young, but one of the better starting staffs in baseball. And well, Seattle, they're scuffling once again.
Oakland also has the best sound system in the entire game. It is so loud in that ball.
No doubt. No doubt.
There's Mike Napoli with 1 out. Scherzer looking for a quick inning here.
At least that ballpark's good for something.
Wow. 0-1.
I'm not talking about the Raiders either.
There's a breaking ball low and away. 1 ball, 1 strike. They are still, I believe, trying to get a new ballpark up there in a new town. Scherzer working quickly. The 1-1 is a strike called on the outer edge. Napoli disagrees. Verlander will be pitching in that ballpark. I think he draws Dallas Braden.
It's a good park to pitch in. It's spacious. Ball doesn't travel well at night.
Chopper hit to the shortstop, ranging right. Peralta. You also got to love all that foul ground there if you're a pitcher. Verlander will throw in game 3 in that series against Dallas Braden. 2 up, 2 down here in the 4th, and now Mitch Moreland. Moreland struck out in the 2nd. There's a strike called on Mitch. Only 1 hit for the Rangers so far in this game. That was a Michael Young double back in the 3rd. He then stole third base, but they couldn't score him. That's pulled into right field. Base hit for Moreland.
I was talking to Thad Bosley before the game today. He's the new hitting coach for the Rangers. And, of course, the Rangers hit .276 as a team last year, which led the majors. Clint Hurdle, their manager, got a manager's job in Pittsburgh. And I was asking Thad, how long does it take you when you get a team like this before you really start to talk to guys about, technique and certain things like that? And he told me he went to Texas a couple of different times where several guys live, Young, Hamilton, Moreland, Kinsler, and he worked with those guys in the off season.
Really?
So he developed that trust first and foremost, and then when he got down to spring training, there's already that trust factor, so it doesn't take long to sort of talk to guys about some of your philosophies.
How different are philosophies, do you think, between hitting coaches? Are they basically pretty much the same in terms of the crux of their philosophies? We're going to get into that in the last half inning as Scherzer gets a ground ball and Borbon is out. That's all for Texas. Bottom of the 4th coming up. what two players are tied for the most walk-off hits in Comerica Park history? Of course, Cabby had one yesterday. There are two players that are tied for the most ever in Comerica Park's brief history. Can you name them? Got a new pitcher now, and a wall-side windows pitching change. Bush is out of the game, and he gives way to Mason Tobin.
Well, Ron Washington was hoping to get maybe 5 innings out of Bush, but the pitch count got him, and he only logged 14 innings in spring training, did Bush. So, therefore, Tobin is now in the game, pitching in his 3rd game of this season.
So Tobin will go to work here in the 4th in a scoreless contest. Bottom 3 coming up for the Tigers. It'll be Peralta, Avila, and Inge. Bush goes 3 innings and gives up 3 hits, no runs.
Tigers stranded 6 while Bush is in there,
including the bases loaded back in the 2nd.
They were able to bend him, but they weren't able to break him.
Here's the 0-1 pitch. We're talking about hitting coaches before we went to break, and you have experience in being a hitting coach. What makes a good hitting coach, and are the philosophies really all that different around baseball, do you think?
I think one of the things that makes a good hitting coach is a guy that can teach all the guys. I mean, you don't teach one philosophy for all your players. For instance, you don't teach your table setters how to hit the ball in the ballpark, and you don't try to teach the guys that have power to be punch and Judy type guys.
Back up the middle, but Kinsler is there with the backhand.
But I think the more important thing at this level is gaining the trust of the players and being well prepared and knowing what the opposing pitcher likes to do in certain situations. And once you gain that trust, it's really a lot easier for you.
Here comes Alex Avila. Avila in the ball game, reaching out a fielder's choice back in the 2nd. Tobin is a native of Montana, Glendive, Montana. 23 years of age. Strike 1.
And Tobin, one of those sinker ballers that likes to stand on the first base side of the rubber and allow the natural sinker to run back on the outside corner to the left-handed batters. See several guys with good two-seam fastballs on that side of the rubber.
Tobin did not pitch last year, recovering from elbow surgery. Originally drafted by the Angels and then was a Rule 5 selection by the Cubs, and then made his way to Texas. That's inside and low. 2-1 on Avila. Tillman's a big kid, 6'3", 210 he's listed at. And he missed away, 3-1. And there's a walk. A walk to the number 8 man.
Well, don't go anywhere after this one. As soon as it's over, and stay tuned for Tigers Live. We'll go to the clubhouse, and you'll hear, of course, from the manager, Jim Leland, and the players. Plus, we'll show you all the highlights. Tigers Live from the Call Sam Studios and here at the ballpark immediately after the game on Fox Sports Detroit.
Texas pitching now with 4 walks on the afternoon, and to this point, none have scored in a scoreless game here in the bottom of the 4th. Inge looks at ball 1. Brandon had one of those walks back in the 2nd. Runner goes on a line to the shortstop, Andrews, and they'll get a double play. Plucked it off the ground, And a line DP ends the inning. Tough luck there for the Tigers. For the most walk-off hits in Comerica Park history. Cabrera had one yesterday. Is he one of them? Negative. Brandon Inge and Carlos Guillen both have had 6 right here at Comerica Park. Your answer to your AT&T trivia question. Here's the full list. Polanco right behind him. He was my guess, but fell a little bit short with him.
He was a money player, wasn't he?
He was indeed. And one guy that listed I forgot about was Craig Monroe. He had 3 of them. Bud Rodriguez had 3.
Jim Leland called Polanco his favorite player ever.
On our way to the 5th inning, here's a bunt to third base. Inge going to have to barehand it. Nice play and a nice scoop, and Kinsler is out.
That's why Inge is a really good defender down at third base. If you're Kinsler, you're thinking he's forgotten about you, but his natural athleticism allows him to come in. He grabs this ball in the fingertips, he transfers it, and makes a throw to first base, and a really nice pick on the other side by Miguel. Nice play. Now pull it. Pull it play.
And on the other end, Cabrera is able to scoop it on the backhand. Here's Elvis Andrus. Andrus is 0 for 1 with a walk. Scherzer has given up 2 hits, no runs so far as we play here in the 5th. Movement on that pitch. 0-2. Max Scherzer in this game has picked up a few strikeouts, 5 to be exact. Here's the 1-2. Vila down to block that one. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Andrus. And now an even 80 for Max. Again, his last start, he threw 103 in 6 innings of work. It was good work against Kansas City. 2-2 is on the ground with a shortstop. Peralta routine play. Andrus out of there. 2 up, 2 down, couple of ground balls, although one of them was a bunt. That'll bring up Michael Young. What a spectacular day today. You can see clear blue skies. Beautiful day for baseball and a beautiful ballpark. Young had a double back in the 3rd, which, by the way, ties him with Pudge Rodriguez for the most by a Texas Ranger. 352 doubles. And when you start to delve into the numbers of Michael Young and you look at the leaders in Texas Rangers history, Young's name can be found all over the place. Here's the 1-0. Speaking of Pudge, it was on this day back in '99 that he set a Rangers record for the most RBI in a game, and that was 9. Courtesy of Greg Ennis, our statistician up here, who does a marvelous job. Driven in the air toward left field. Rayburn on the run, and it's going to be a 1-2-3 inning. No runs, no hits, nobody left. Tigers baseball today is presented by Bell Tire.
It's April 22nd when the Tigers face the Chicago White Sox at 7:05. The first 10,000 fans receive an Austin Jackson figurine. For tickets, call 866-66-TIGER or visit tigers.com.
It's almost lifelike.
Like a young Willie Mays making that catch.
Here we go to the bottom of the 5th inning in a scoreless game. And guess who's leading off? Austin Jackson. He'll be followed by Rhymes and then Rayburn.
I think we kind of planned it that way, didn't we?
Yeah, that wasn't coincidence, that's for sure. These guys are always thinking in the truck. Jackson, a walk and a ground out. Tobin back out there for his 2nd inning of work. Two 2-0 on Austin. Now 3 balls and no strikes. See if we can get him on here and start something offensively. The Tigers have had 3 hits, but not been able to break through.
Well, Jim tried to jumpstart the offense the last half inning. He had Avila on the move, and he put on the hit and run, and Inge lined sharply to the shortstop, and Avila was tagged out by Andrews, the shortstop, to complete the double play.
Chop to the left side. Beltre scoops up everything hit that way.
Boy, did they shore up their defense when they went out and acquired Beltre. 2-time Gold Glove winner. Tremendous arm strength. And he also provides some protection in the batting order when Hamilton is playing. And he's one of the few guys that throws flat-footed. He grabs the ball, and it's almost like he just stops. And he throws on his heels, but he gets a lot on his throws.
Well, there was a play that he made earlier this year that was scooped up at first base by Mitch Moreland, and he promised Moreland dinner for saving him an error possibly in a ball that was in the dirt. But he gets to everything. Won a couple of Gold Gloves.
Made his first All-Star team last year as well. He was the Boston Red Sox MVP.
And he's handing out dinners. course, he signed a nice contract. The 0-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. The 1-1 pitch is fouled back. 1-2 on Will Rhymes. Came up with the bases loaded back in the second, but bounced out. One of the jams that Bush was able to wiggle out of, and he gives way to Tobin. Did so in the 4th, and now Tobin pitching here in the 5th. Bouncer right back up the middle. Another base hit for Will. It's his 2nd hit of the game. 1 on, 1 out. That'll bring up Ryan Rayburn. Rayburn today single and a walk, on base 2 more times. He's had 4 hits in the series after that huge day yesterday. Ball 1. The Atlanta Braves originally held Tobin's rights. Of course, that was a few years ago when you could do draft and follows. You could draft a guy, follow him, and hold his rights up until the draft the very next year. But that's kind of gone by the wayside now. I think you have to have draftees signed by what, sometime in August?
There's a deadline.
I'm not sure what that deadline is, but you can no longer wait for the next draft, and that forces you as an organization to make more decisions more quickly.
Yeah, they used to draft some guys they weren't quite sure on. Then they'd watch them play summer ball or watch them play a season of junior college ball, and they would still have the rights to them. And if they chose to offer them some money, then they could do so.
High fly ball, shallow left field. Coming in is Murphy. Rayburn is out. Yep, those rules have changed now, so organizations have to make up their mind whether or not they will offer contracts. Two gone. That'll bring up Cabrera. Bill Cabrera in check in this game so far, 0 for 2. Only 6 hits between the two teams. Tigers have 4. The Rangers have 2. Ball 1 outside. Ten RBIs for Cabrera. That is a team high for Detroit. 4 home runs as well. Just a little bit outside. 2-0.
It looks like Tobin, at least for the first couple of pitches, is treating Cabrera like the game is on the line, with 2 outs and first base occupied.
Popped him up. First base side. And a play for Moreland. And Cabrera is out. So are the Tigers. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left. We mosey on to the 6th. All right, Mickey, thank you. Here we're in the 6th inning, and it's a scoreless game. A little bit different. 4 runs, or 4 hits, I should say, for the Tigers, no runs. 2 hits for the Rangers, no runs. Scherzer back to work. He's facing Adrian Beltre, Nelson Cruz, and David Murphy. Beltre's had a tough day so far today, at least with the stick. He was 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts. Scherzer ready with the 2-0 pitch. Ooh, look out. Maxwell goes down. It's back into center field. A rocket hit right back at the pitcher. So a leadoff single for Beltre.
Ball hit right on that dirt and skipped off that dirt, and Max ducked underneath it. Take a look at this. Oh, my goodness.
Man, is that close?
He got real small in a hurry.
Ooh, and Beltre says, whoop. You all right?
You know, the one thing I've noticed about Beltre this year is he is not taking those swings that he was taking in Boston last year, where he was falling down on one knee,
right.
that right knee. They were calling it the wedding proposal up there, yeah. He's not taking those kind of swings anymore. He is standing tall on that backside. Take a look at this swing. It doesn't get much better than this. Picture perfect for a Beltre. Nice weight transfer.
Beltre had a nice year last year for the Red Sox. Beltre knocked in 102 last season.
49 doubles. He had a great year.
Cruz also has fanned a couple of times. Prior to that single by Beltre, he and Cruz had struck out 4 times in this game. Combined, obviously. Now the 1-1.
Beltre is one of those guys that really doesn't panic in a contract year. Superior year out in Los Angeles when he was real young in his free agent season. He parlayed that into a nice deal in Seattle. And then last year, he was a 1-year signee of Boston, and he parlayed that into a nice 5-year deal here in Texas.
This one gets by Avila, advanced the runner to second base. And so now put Beltre in scoring position, nobody out. Wild pitch, advances the runner. Well, Joaquin Benoit starting to warm up. And it's only the 6th. Hit hard off the glove of the shortstop Peralta and almost hit the base runner. They're going to try and score him, and they will. It's an RBI hit for Nelson Cruz, who scalded one back up the middle.
Right-handers usually don't center the baseball that effectively against Scherzer, but there's been a couple of absolute seeds hit off the bat of Beltre and now Cruz. And Beltre undressed Scherzer with his base hit. He got undressed there by that base hit by Nelson Cruz.
A couple of rockets. Peralta did all he could to try and knock it down, but he's just hit too hard. Here's Murphy. It's the 4th hit of the game now for Texas. Still nobody out. Murphy 0 for 2, reaching on an error back in the 2nd.
If you're Scherzer, you can't fall asleep and allow Cruz to get a jump off of first base. If the stolen base is on his mind, you want to keep the double play in order here.
Murphy's just been a flat-out solid hitter in his big league career. His numbers aren't overly flashy, but is a .282 career batter. There's a strike in the outer edge off speed. 1-2 on Murphy.
Murph didn't like that. He felt like Mike Estabrook, and it gave him too much on the outside corner.
Murphy had the game-winning pinch hit double on opening day for the Red Sox, breaking a 5-all tie against Boston. And he stays alive, 1-2. So Scherzer continues to climb toward 100 pitches. He had a lot early in the first 2 innings of the game. He put together a 1-2-3 fifth inning. But the Rangers have scored first here, and the RBI hit by Cruz. Fouled away. Talked about Josh Hamilton going on to the disabled as Chris Davis was called up from their minor league organization from AAA. They can't really replace Hamilton. They'll do the best they can, though, and there's some thought that he might be out 8 weeks, which is a lengthy period of time.
Non-displaced fracture in that shoulder. I guess it just kind of heals by itself. They don't do any surgery on you.
No, it's about all you can do. Sit and wait. Avila can't find it, and the runner will advance. Safe at second base is Cruz.
Nice anticipation there by Cruz, the base runner, because that ball didn't trickle that far away from Avila.
2 wild pitches in this inning. Takes a double play out of order and puts another man in scoring position. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Murphy. A little looper into center field. That's going to drop. Base hit. Cruz coming around third. They'll send him home. The throw to the plate is not in time. A hook slide by Nelson Cruz, who got a nice read on that ball from second base, and he beats the throw. 2-0.
It's a good throw by Jackson. But Cruz has pretty good speed, and he slides, hook slide variety, and able to touch the plate in reach back fashion with the left arm.
Fourth RBI of the year for Murphy, and still nobody out in the inning. Texas on top 2-0. That is their 5th hit of the game as Rick Knapp comes out to have a talk with Scherzer. There's some action in the Detroit bullpen. And Scherzer's pitch count now gets up there here in the 6th inning. Villarreal and Schlereth. This will be the 100th pitch coming up for Scherzer. Here's Mike Napoli. 3 straight hits for Texas here in the 6th inning. As if the Rangers needed more power in their lineup, they picked up Napoli in the offseason, who was traded from the Angels to Toronto, and then Toronto dealt him to Texas. Fouled back out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike. Napoli had 20 or more home runs in 3 straight years in an Angels uniform. Came up in their organization. Two and 1. Murphy an RBI single. Swing and a miss, and a big time swing there by Napoli. Jordi Alba had caught the first 2 games in the series. Napoli getting the start today. He's also played some first base for Texas. And the 2-2. Swing and a miss. And Scherzer picks up a strikeout. His 6th of the afternoon. That one comes in handy. 1 gone.
Napoli with that big swing has a tough time of catching up to that belt high fastball in the low 90s. There's that arm slot we were talking about earlier, low 3/4 arm slot.
Now Mitch Moreland. Moreland takes strike 1. Esteber with the right hand going up, and Moreland behind in the count after a 1-2-3 5th inning. Scherzer has given up 3 consecutive hits here in the 6th. But outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Been a terrific start for Moreland, who now has hit safely in 7 straight. And some production out of the bottom of their lineup. One and 2. Moreland said the postseason that he had last year really gave him a lot of confidence going into the offseason. He batted .348 for Texas in the playoffs, and he really hasn't stopped hitting. .400 this spring, off to a great start this year. Runner goes, swing and a miss. Throw down to second, the tag, safe at second base. Avila thought he had him. It was close.
It's a pretty good throw here by Avila. I'm wondering if Peralta took the throw in front of the bag or if he was straddling it. No, he let the ball travel.
Yep. It looked like a pretty good call. Looked like he just might have gotten in there. So here's Bourbon now with 2 outs. Bourbon is 0 for 1 and now 1 for his last 17. So his average right now at 160 for the year. Foxmo will give us a clean look.
That's about as close as you can get.
One ball, 1 strike on Julio Bourbon. Love the Mickey Rivers comparison you came up with earlier in the game in terms of his new look with the stirrups and the socks up high. Mickey always used to look like he was in so much pain when he walked, and then when he got on the bases, he could really run.
He walked like his puppy was hurting, didn't
he? He sure did.
Corns and bunions everywhere.
Okay, that's kind of graphic.
Well, I mean, he walked like he had some bad feet.
But he could run, though. Here's the 1-2. Slice toward the shortstop. Almost hit the runner, and it gets through, a base hit. They will stop Murphy at third base, and Bourbon squeaks one through the infield.
If Bourbon starts to do a little bit more of that, the batting average will go up. He had 39 infield singles last year, so when he hits the ball on the ground, if it doesn't find a hole, he's got a legitimate chance of getting a base hit if you make the infielders move to their left or their right. Dave Anderson had to hold up Murphy there because Murphy had to dodge the baseball, and really Rayburn was playing really shallow in left field.
Only Ichiro had more infield hits last year than Bourbon. And he may not be right. He has asked for time at first base, and now Ron Washington of the trainer coming out as well. So Bourbon being tended to.
See if anything happened here.
Didn't appear that anything grabbed him. Then he just kind of doubled over as he got back to the bag. So they're deciding if Bourbon stays in this game. And it appears he will. So Scherzer still has some work to do here. That's the 6th hit that he's given up. First and third with 2 outs, and now they bring it up to the top of the lineup. Ian Kinsler.
You might want to throw over one time just in case. And Bourbon is entertaining the thought of trying to steal.
Kinsler hit by a pitch his first time up, 0 for 2 otherwise. He tried to bunt his way on last time. Hinge made a nice barehanded play. Meanwhile, Scherzer is about to throw his 30th pitch. Of this inning. Oh, they may have finally got that play to work. Here comes Murphy coming home from third, and Cabrera throws to the plate, and he's out. That'll end the inning. And it comes in the nick of time, so the Rangers will settle for 2 runs in the inning. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th, 2-0 Texas.
Inning, so that means it's the Coors Light freeze cam time. And a couple of innings ago, Kinsler tried to bunt his way on. Ends with a nice pick. Look at this look. Take a look at this one. Spread the fingers. You grab the ball. You get it in the palm of your hands, and you transfer it to the fingertips. And he had some help on the other end from Cabrera.
Meanwhile, how about that last play? Scherzer sold it pretty well.
We might not see this play work again this year.
Or ever.
Bourbon obviously was running on the play. Cabrera out of the corner of his eye saw Murphy take off from third, and they were able to get the third out of the inning.
So we have a new pitcher on now for Texas. It'll be the former Seattle Mariner. Mark Lowe is the new man on the mound now for the Rangers.
All of a sudden, a different mindset for Ron Washington. Although Lowe's numbers are high, he's a pretty good pitcher and had some success when he was pitching for the Seattle Mariners.
As many as 75 appearances out of the pen in a single season for Seattle. Tigers have some work to do now, down 2-0 in the bottom of the 6th inning. And Victor Martinez leads it off. It'll be Martinez, Bosch, and Peralta. Tigers have managed 4 hits in this game, but have not scored.
They've squandered some opportunities. However, they've left 7 men on base. 6 in the first 3 innings.
The 1-0 outside, 2 balls, no strikes on Martinez. Mark Lowe broke into the big leagues in 2006 with Seattle. He pitched exclusively out of their bullpen. Born in Houston, Texas. And the 2-0. That ball is hit well. Deep right field, and that ball is down up against the wall. Extra bases for Victor, and he's in with a stand-up double.
Lowe has an outstanding fastball, but in a 2-0 count, Victor Martinez locked and loaded, sitting on that piece of cheese, and he clobbered that ball into the gap in right center field.
What kind of cheese do we have today?
Parmesan.
You're mixing it up a little bit today.
Yeah, you know.
So the Tigers now, believe it or not, have a little streak going here. They've had at least 1 double in all 12 of their games this year. That's going to bring up Brennan Bosch. Bosch a single and a fly ball in this game, tying run to the plate. Tigers now have 6 hits. Ball 1 to Bosch. Bosch in this game a single and a steal. He's 1 for 2.
Tigers hitters better get ready to hit. Last fastball by Lowe was 97 miles an hour.
Whoa. There's the 1-0 inside. 95 on that one.
Took a little off. Well, same count that Martinez had. If you're Brennan Bosch, you have to have that same mindset that it's going to be a fastball right down the middle, and the velocity is pretty good, which means you need to get started.
Reno. Tigers gave up 2 in the top of the 6th. And they're trying to answer here against Lowe. Tobin pitched 2 innings and gives way to a former Mariner. He's taking on 3-0, and there's a strike on the outside corner. On deck, Johnny Peralta. Let's see if Bosch gets something to turn on here. 3-1 the count. And he drives one deep into right center field. Bourbon is on the run, not going to get it. It's up against the wall. That'll get a run in. Bosch will pull into second base. That's a double, and the Tigers are on the board.
If they can continue to get Brennan Bosch to recapture that magic he had the first half of last year, and only a matter of time before the rest of the offense starts to wake up.
Seventh RBI of the year for Bosch. Second hit of this game. Tigers down by a run. Still nobody out. Texas relievers came into this game with a team ERA of 2.30. The Tigers trying to tie this one up against the bullpen. The veteran Arthur Rhodes starting to heat up. Here's the 1-0. Rolled foul. Neither team able to score until the 6th inning when Texas got 2 and the Tigers have answered. And the 1-1. 2 balls and 1 strike on Peralta. Johnny today 0 for 2. He's put the ball on the ground twice. Avila waiting his turn on deck. Two and 2 on Peralta. Bush started this game, went the first 3. Tobin came on for 2 scoreless. And very quickly, Lowe has come on here and give up back-to-back doubles to put the Tigers on the board. Swing and a miss. Peralta is out of there on strikes. First out of the inning. And the first strikeout for Lowe.
Hey fans, you can follow the Tigers with MLB.com at Bat11 app for your iPhone, iPad, Android, or BlackBerry. Get live audio, pitch-by-pitch tracking, video highlights, and more. Text at bat to 31826 or visit Tigers.com. That's 31826 or Tigers.com.
That is the first strikeout recorded by Texas pitching today of a Tigers hitter. Here's Alex Avila. One on Alex, who today has reached on a fielder's choice and a walk. Here's the 0-1. Strike called. Avila steps out, has a quick look back for Escobar. A little delayed call there by the home plate umpire. 0-2. Back in his home state. We mentioned he was born in Houston. He pitched some college ball at the University of Texas Arlington. Not too far from the Rangers' home ballpark. 27 years old, Mark Lowe. Two and 2. Rangers got 2 on the top of the 6th. Tigers answer with 1, maybe more here in the bottom of the 6th. In the air to center. Borbon coming on. Drops. Base hit. Bosch goes to third. Stops there. And Alex Avila with a single to center. Now the tying run gets to third base. Still only 1 out. And a chance for Brandon Inge.
Lowe not having any success whatsoever against the left-handed batters in this inning. But if you look at his career, left-handers have given him some difficulty. Lefties hitting .305, right-handers just .228.
So the home plate umpire now will head out to the mound to break up the confab, and Maddox turns around, heads back to the bench. Tigers in business here. They have put together 3 hits in this inning after falling behind 2-0. Inge is 0 for 1. He lined into a double play back in the 4th. He also has a walk. Ball 1 from Lowe. Lowe has not exactly been sharp either. He has thrown 19 pitches, 10 of which had missed the strike zone. Missed again. 2-0 on Brandon. Lowe continuing to dig a hole, and there is the pitch count for Mark Lowe in the breakdown as well. Brandon got himself a 2-0 count, ripped one foul. He got a fastball at 95 from Lowe. Lowe did save a few games in a Seattle uniform. He picked up a few, in fact, a total of 4 in his time with Seattle. Swing and a miss, and it's 2-2. Dialed up to 97 there.
They had some arms in that Seattle bullpen a couple of years ago. Lowe, J.J. Putz, Morrow before he was traded to the Toronto Blue Jays. They came at you with some high-octane gas late in games.
As Lowe is displaying here, he drives the fake to third, look at first. Tigers aren't biting. And the 2-2 inside. 3 balls, 2 strikes on Brandon. Doing anything with Avila down there at first?
I wouldn't.
It's kind of risky.
I wouldn't do anything. But that's why Jim gets paid the big bucks.
And Avila will draw a throw. Alex with a single in this inning, doubles as well for Martinez and Bosch. 3-2 pitch, runner holds, and it's hit in the air to right field. Cruz coming over, measuring it, makes the catch. Here comes the runner trying to score. Bosch to the plate, and he is safe. He ties the game. Inge with an RBI, and it's 2-2.
Great at bat there by Brandon Inge. And a gamble by Gene Lamont and also Brennan Bosch with Cruz in right field. No one in right field has a better arm than him in either league, and it's a nice pick by Napoli. If the ball's on the plate, they get the out there, but you have to force the issue when you're having a difficult time of scoring runs.
Well, the Tigers did force the issue, and they come away with a run here. Bosch ties it at 2, sliding in safely. Inge gets an RBI, his second of the year. 2-2 game now with 2 outs. Here's Jackson. He looks at ball 1. Jackson on base once today, walked in the second. Bosch with a big double and an RBI in the inning, and he scores the tying run as well. Here's the 1-0. On the ground to the shortstop. Andrus will flip to second for the force, ending the inning, but a good inning for the Tigers. They get a couple of runs, all tied as we go to the 7th. Back here at Comerica Park, here's our Comerica game summary. Michael Young has had a huge series for Texas, 6 for 10. With a couple of RBIs, Tigers 2 doubles today, which means 26 for the season, tied for most in the American League. Max Scherzer goes 6 innings, strikes out 7, gives up 2 earned runs, and he will depart the scene now as we head to the 7th inning. We have a new pitcher on for the Tigers. That would be Brian Villarreal.
And Villarreal is one of those guys that you would term as having a big arm. Fastball anywhere from 94 to 96. Also has a slider that's a legitimate swing and miss pitch for most right-handed batters. He also throws from a little bit of a low 3/4 arm slot, and he gets some movement on that tailing fastball, and the velocity is quite high, and he can rack up some strikeouts.
Well, he's got the top of the lineup now for the Texas Rangers. It'll be Kinsler, Andrus, and Young. 2 runs on 7 hits for the Tigers, 2 runs on 6 hits for Texas. Series finale here. The Tigers and Rangers each have a win in the series. In the air to center field. Jackson cruising back, and 1 gone. Kinsler retired. Now Elvis Andrus. .113 pitches for Scherzer this afternoon for Detroit. Andrus looks at strike 1 from Villarreal. Well, it seems like we see this every year, but it seems like somebody jumps up in spring camp, wins a job that you don't expect to win a job, and I think that guy this year would be Villarreal. He's fouled back out of play, 0-2.
Villarreal probably came to spring training in better shape than most of the other relievers. He pitched in winter ball down in Venezuela and pitched very well. So, you know, once these guys get to spring training on February 14th, they're only a couple of weeks coming off of pitching all winter long.
Slings one outside, 1-2. Didn't take him long in spring camp to show off what he had to offer, though. Jim Leland continued to give him opportunities. Villarreal out of Venezuela, just 23 years of age. Swing and a miss. Tipped it into the glove, to be more accurate.
That's that legitimate swing and miss slide piece I was talking about.
Villarreal was cruising along until he had an outing in Orlando against the Atlanta Braves. Jim Leland wanted him to throw a few more changeups, and that kind of got him out of whack a little bit. Got hit just a tad, and good slider there took care of the second hole hitter Andrews. 1 ball, no strikes on Michael Young. They just have not been able to get him out for the most part. He had a double, stole a base back in the third. 6 for 10 in the series, and really could have had a home run in the ball game yesterday had Rayburn not robbed him. He's had quite a series.
He's had quite a career.
And he's ahead here 2-0. Ground ball hit to the shortstop deep in the hole. Peralta sets, and he got him. 1-2-3 inning for Brian Villarreal. Nicely done. We'll go to the bottom of the 7th. Still tied at 2. Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by Bell Tire. Get the lowest tire price, period. Bell Tire. Back here at Comerica Park on a gorgeous day for baseball here today. How about Miguel Cabrera?
Well, he's kind of tough to get out. If you try to get him out in the strike zone, he usually hits the ball fairly hard, and if you don't throw him strikes, he'll take a walk. He's just an outstanding player. He's a tremendous hitter, and he does lots of damage.
And Cabrera did the damage in the bottom of the 9th yesterday, the walk-off game winner.
He pulls his hands in better than anybody that comes to mind on those tailing fastballs that come inside. He can really pull those hands inside and get barrel over the plate and hit that ball to left field fair.
So 41-year-old Arthur Rhodes will come into the ball game now for Texas.
He's doing a pretty nice job. Opponents hitting only 182 against him. Rhodes not a hard thrower, but not afraid to throw the ball over the plate. He throws lots of strikes, and that's one of the reasons why Ron Washington trusts him late in games.
And Will Rhymes leads it off. 2 runs, 7 Detroit hits. 2 runs, 6 Texas hits. Rhymes looks at ball 1. So Mark Lowe pitches 1 inning and allows the 2 runs. Tigers tied it up in the bottom of the 6th. Rhymes a couple of singles in this game. 1-1.
Left-handers really haven't been a problem for Will Rhymes in his short tenure in the show. Hit over 300 against left-handers last year. And he's had some good swings against lefties this year as well.
Now the 1-1. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Is there something that left-handers that hit left-handed pitching do that might increase their odds?
Well, for a guy like Rhymes, he's not a big physical guy, so he's not trying to, hit the ball into the gaps. He's simply trying to make contact, and because of that, he kind of waits until the last possible moment just to put the ball in play.
Missed it high. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Rhymes. Will to be followed by Rayburn and then Cabrera. Bottom of the 7th here at Comerica. Series finale. Tigers will jet out to the West Coast after this one. Slap back out of play.
It seems like we just got home.
That's because we did. Now we're back on a plane today.
Some of the players really haven't settled in yet because so many are here for the first time, so they really haven't found houses or apartments yet. They're still living out of their suitcases.
And the consecutive day games makes that a little bit more difficult. You don't have the day open to do so. And that's low and away. Run it to 3-2 on Rhymes.
First homestand is always tough, too, because you got family coming to town and you're concerned about tickets and all that other kind of stuff that goes in to the opening homestand of the season. It'll feel like the start of the season once they get out west and start to play some more night games and get more into their routines.
Yeah, the normal schedule that they're accustomed to. 3-2 pitch. Is hammered to center field on a line, but Bourbon will come in to make the catch. First out of the inning. By the way, the Red Wings' quest for the Stanley Cup begins tonight with Game 1 in their first-round series against the Phoenix Coyotes. Coverage begins at 6:30 with Red Wings Live, followed by the game at 7 o'clock. Red Wings playoff hockey presented by Bell Tire tonight here on Fox Sports Detroit and Fox Sports Detroit HD. Here comes Ryan Rayburn. On opening day, you had the Old English D out there in the Red Sen, and the Red Wings winged logo being featured now in support of our Red Wings. The 0-1, swing and a miss. Oh, 2 on Rayburn, single walk fly ball in this game. Arthur Rhodes has been in this game a long time. When was his first big league season, you ask? 1991. When he appeared with the Orioles. Played about 3 years of minor league ball and finally got to the big leagues. Well, not finally, but got to the big leagues fairly rapidly, and has been with Baltimore, Seattle, Oakland, Cleveland. Among the stops, Philly, Florida. Ooh, good pitch, and a strike called, and that's all for Rayburn. 2 gone. Rhodes has his first strikeout.
And not much tilt on that breaking ball, but enough to buckle the knees of Rayburn, and he couldn't pull the trigger once those knees buckled.
Leland and Rayburn having a little chat. There's Cabrera. He takes outside. 2 balls, no strikes. Oh for 3 today for Cabrera. Chopped to third base, and right there is Beltre. Stuttered a bit, and he throws him out. So the Tigers go 1, 2, 3. And we are headed to the 8th, tied at 2.
Tomorrow with the opener of a 4-game series against the Oakland Athletics. Coverage begins at 9:30 with Tigers Live, followed by the game at 10 o'clock. It's Tigers Baseball, presented by Bell Tire, tomorrow night here on Fox Sports Detroit and Fox Sports Detroit HD.
Phil Koch and Gio Gonzalez. The pitching matchup in Game 1 in that series out on the West Coast, where it's supposed to be a little bit nippy.
Gio off to a good start, and it is supposed to be a little chilly at night. Bring a jacket.
Well, here we go. The Rangers coming to the plate now in the 8th inning. 2-2 ball game. Villarreal back out there for another inning of work, and he delivers a strike to Adrian Beltre. A 1-2-3 inning for Mr. Villarreal back in the 7th. Beltre, Cruz, and Murphy here in the 8th. 1 ball, 1 strike on Beltre. He's had a single and a run scored in this game. The Rangers got 2 in the 6th to go up 2-0. Tigers answered with a pair in the bottom of the 6th inning. Villarreal doesn't waste much time. Gets the baseball, gets his sign, and brings it home. Here's the 1-2 pitch. In the air to center field and hit a ton. Jackson is on the move, still going back, and he'll run it down at 420 in dead center. One out, long out for Beltre. Here comes Cruz. Well, I guess we're going to see some of that really good young pitching, Rod, when we get out to the West Coast. They say that Oakland team has some of the best young pitching in the game.
And Billy Beane, the general manager, is starting to lock up some of that young talent with long-term contracts, the way the Cleveland Indians did back in the day when John Sherholtz was their GM, with all the young talent Cleveland had. You know, buy them out of their arbitration years, first couple of years of free agency.
There's a strike. 0-2 on Cruz. Nelson had an RBI single in the 6th inning. The 0-2. On the ground, left side, deep in the hole, going to be trouble. And no chance for Peralta, infield hit. Go ahead runner aboard.
Texas has kind of had their way at stealing bases in this series, but with Villarreal on the mound, Cruz is not going to get too far off that bag. He's already picked off a couple of runners in the big leagues. He did it on Monday, the home opener, and then he did it yesterday as well.
That was a key play late in that Brad Penny start. Strike one on David Murphy. Murphy singled and knocked in a run, also in the 6th inning. Villarreal, for the most part, still very much unknown in the American League, but the more guys he continues to pick off, the more the word is going to spread very quickly that you better not get too comfortable down there at first. And he throws a strike on the outer edge, 0-2. Cruz a modest lead at first. Villarreal took over for Max Scherzer, who went the first 6 innings, and he'll get a no decision today. Tigers took him off the hook with a 2-run bottom of the 6th. And the 0-2 way outside, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Gets away from Vila. To the backstop it goes. Advanced Cruz to second base.
Too many wild pitches this year so far for Tigers pitching.
They've had 2 today, make it 3 now.
Avila can't do anything here. Yeah, I know that he's pretty tough on himself as far as not allowing the balls to get by him, but he had no shot there.
He's going to bring Rick Knapp out. The go-ahead run now in scoring position.
That is now 12 wild pitches.
Really?
For Tigers pitching this year.
Is that a league high?
Well, I bet it is without looking.
It is indeed.
By a pretty good margin, I bet.
Yeah, it is. The next closest is 6.
Yeah.
2 balls, 2 strikes. David Murphy trying to deliver the go-ahead run here in the 8th with 1 out. And the 2-2. Swing and a miss. Villarreal comes back to strike him out, 2 away. That's the second for Bryant. Now Mike Napoli. Wave and a miss, 0-1. Talking about Villarreal pitching in the Venezuelan Winter League. He was 5-0 with a 2.32 ERA.
That will open up some eyes.
Struck out 24 in 31 innings of work.
If you look up and down the Tigers roster, for the most part, their 12-man pitching staff.
Popped him up. Right side of the infield. Grimes to the grass. Inning over. They get a hit. They leave a man. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Still tied at 2.
Entire pitch by pitch, courtesy of Max Scherzer, who pitched 6 innings in this game and had 7 strikeouts.
Scherzer gives up 2 runs, and here are his final numbers: 6 innings. He walked 2 to go with the 7 Ks. 113 pitch effort today for Max. And again, he'll get a no decision. We have a new pitcher on now for Texas. They go right back to the bullpen. Rhodes is done, and Oliver will come in now for the Rangers.
One veteran left-hander to another veteran left-hander.
Sixth appearance for Darren Oliver. Through a scoreless 8th on Monday here against the Tigers. And the first pitch is a strike to Victor Martinez, batting from the right side against the lefty.
Good batting average for Victor. Batting right-handed, but more power as a left-handed batter.
Fouled away. No balls, 2 strikes.
And with the wind blowing slightly out toward right field, Ron Washington feeling like the best chance of keeping Victor in the ballpark is by putting him on this side of the plate.
Martinez had that double in the 6th inning, which started the rally that tied the game. He's 1 for 3. Just off the plate. Oliver replaces Rhodes, who replaced Lowe, who replaced Tobin. They got a total of 3 innings out of their spot starter today, Dave Bush. He threw a lot of pitches early. Wave and a miss, and Martinez goes down. 1 gone here in the 8th. third strikeout for Texas pitching today. Oliver is 40 years old, and he'll face Bosch.
You know, I was making a point before that last out of the inning about all the Tigers pitchers, pretty much all 12. If you look up and down their records in minor leagues and major leagues, they all average pretty much a strikeout per inning. So they all have really good arms, really good arms.
The 0-1. Bouncing ball hit the second base. That'll be routine for Kinsler, and there are two gone. A lot has been made about Dave Dombrowski and his affinity for hard throwers, and that's what the Tigers have done, obviously, in the draft. They've really cultivated some nice pitching.
Wherever he's been, whether it's been Montreal, or whether the Florida Marlins, or now here, of course, in Detroit. Power arms.
2-out chance now for Peralta. Johnny today is 0 for 3. Ball high, 1 ball, 1 strike. Oliver's career has come full circle. He began his big league time with Texas back in '93. He had some really good seasons coming out of the Angels bullpen in 07, 08, and 09. Appearing in a lot of games, good ERAs.
They missed him last year, and their loss was Texas's game.
Yeah, Oliver last season with Texas posted an ERA of 2.48 out of their bullpen.
You don't think the Angels would have taken that?
In a minute. 2-2 on Peralta. And the 2-2 pitch. Fouled away.
See where the Cleveland Indians finally lost the game.
Yeah.
They had won 8 straight.
And I believe it took Dan Herron to slow him down. Indians still 8-3 ahead in the Central Division. One of the early surprises. That's popped up. Second base side. Kinsler makes the play. Tigers go 1-2-3. We go to the 9th. Still tied at 2. As we go to the ninth inning, the Tigers will send their closer to the mound in a 2-2 game, trying to hold it here and then hopefully win it in the bottom of the ninth inning.
Well, just as Jim Leland did yesterday afternoon in a tie ball game, it was Valverde out there for the top half of the ninth inning.
Here are the numbers on Valverde. So Papa Grande will come in for his 5th appearance of the year. And he will have Mitch Moreland to lead it off against him. Moreland, Bourbon, and Kinsler due up here in the ninth inning. 2-2 is our score. It's been that way since the 6th inning.
Real nice work by Villarreal.
Very nice. And he is rewarding his skipper for giving him an opportunity to pitch the 7th inning and the 8th today. Lined right at the second baseman. Nice one-hop pick by Rhymes, who stays with it and throws him out. One away. Hey, by the way, this copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Detroit Tigers and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Detroit Tigers.
Hot potato.
One out, and here is Julio Bourbon. Bourbon single walk. Been on base twice in this game. 1 for 8 in the series. Peeking ahead, the Tigers would have Avila, Inge, and Jackson due up when we get to the bottom of the ninth. And it's Valverde's job to make sure it stays 2-2. So in consecutive days, Valverde comes in to pitch in non-save situations. Two and one. Tigers had to grind out a win yesterday, trying to grind out another one here today on their way to the West Coast. And if they can win this one this afternoon, they would finish with a 500 homestand. Rangers, meanwhile, are headed to New York. Here's the 2-1. Slice to left field, base hit. Second hit, then as many at bats for Bourbon.
Rangers will have a very lengthy stay in New York as well. They get in tonight. They've got tomorrow off, and then they have a Sunday night game on Sunday. So that meal money not going to last very long.
No, it's got no shot, actually.
No shot.
You got that extra off day. Oh, deadly. Here's Kinsler. Kinsler 0 for 3, hit by a pitch way back in the first inning. And there's a balk. Valverde is called for a balk, and he doesn't know why.
What did he do that he doesn't do
normally? Leland coming out to get the explanation.
It was called by the third base umpire, Tim Timmons.
Well, we'll see how big this call turns out to be. That's going to put a man in scoring position now. Leland doing nothing but listening at this point. And so Leland gives up. I guess it wasn't really an argument. He just wanted an explanation, and apparently he's going to head back to the dugout. No further incident. Here it is.
He does that every single night.
He did, but I think he moved just a tad. I don't know if that's enough to call a balk, but after he did his little side move there, I think his head moved a little bit. If that was indeed the call. But you're right, he does it every night.
Call me crazy, but I'm not so sure that Tim Timmons may have been alerted to the fact that Valverde does something when in the stretch prior to today, and Tim Timmons was looking for that.
I think you might be right. Because it was such a minute movement that if that is indeed what he was called for, that little head movement at the end, he had to be looking for that. And a check swing. Did he go? No, he didn't, says Eric Cooper. One ball, one strike. So we'll see if the balk becomes costly here. Kinsler waiting on a 1-1. Drives one in the air to center field. Jackson is on the move. Runner will tag. Here he comes to third base. And Bourbon slides in there. 2 outs. Go ahead run at third. Elvis Andrus will try and drive in a run. Andrus struck out his last time up. The only time he's reached today was on a walk back in the first.
If you're Brandon, you can't go to sleep with Andrus standing in the batter's box. Even though there's 2 outs, he has the ability to bunt down in that direction for a base hit. So you have to play in a little closer. No surprises.
Inside and high, 1-0.
Just in case he was thinking about bunting. A little chin music from Valverde. You don't see it very often, but every now and then you'll see some guys attempt to bunt with 2 outs with the third baseman playing deep to get that bunt in the RBI. Obviously, you get a base hit out of it.
Andrus this year batting .444 with men in scoring position.
He must be getting all his hits.
Apparently.
When there's traffic on the base pass.
Because his average is at 184. 1 ball, 1 strike. Valverde comes on here in the 9th after 2 scoreless from Brian Villarreal. Villarreal had a couple of strikeouts. Fouled away. 1-2. Let's get you updated on how our McDonald's Player of the Game voting is going. Right now, Brennan Bosch leads the way with 32%, followed by Rhymes and then Scherzer. Still have time to vote. 1-2 on Elvis Andrus. In the air to right field. Bosch backing up. Under it. Hitting over. No runs, 1 hit. They get a man to third. Valverde does the job. Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by Comerica Bank. Strength and stability since 1849. Wallside Windows. For a free in-home estimate, call 1-800-521-7800. And by your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers, visit ChevyDetroit.com to see why Chevy drives in Motor City. Bottom of the ninth inning here at beautiful Comerica Park, tied at 2 runs apiece. The Tigers 2 runs, 7 hits. Texas 2 runs, 8 hits. And it'll be Alex Avila to lead things off, then Brandon Inge and Austin Jackson against Darren Oliver, who's back out for another inning of work. And Avila looks at strike 1. Tigers won it in walk-off fashion yesterday. Can they do it again here today?
If Avila is able to reach, Jim will be faced with a very difficult decision as to whether he pinch runs for Avila or not.
Yeah, that's what happens when your other catcher is the designated hitter, and that's the bind that sometimes you will get into.
He's pacing, pondering that thought.
Well, maybe Alex will just hit it out of the park, and you won't have to worry about it.
That'd be nice.
Ooh, inside, 2-1 on Avila. Avila in this game, a walk and a single. And a foul back out of play. 2-2 on Alex. Just missed inside. Run it full now at 3-2. Oliver came on in the 8th, had a 1-2-3 inning with a strikeout, a ground out, and a pop up. Inge waiting on deck. Toward left field. On the move is Murphy. Foul ground and back out of play. And look out, dipsy-do, into the seats he goes.
It's a dangerous area over there. That short railing, we've seen quite a few guys since I've been broadcasting games here fall into the stands.
Supposed to get those spikes flying.
Remember when Brennan went in there last year?
I did. Yeah, I do remember that. Wow. He was going at some pretty good speed.
Full
too.
speed.
Yep.
Rayburn's been in there.
Three and 2. Moving toward left field, and Murphy gets over there. Hit it on a line. Hit it hard. 1 out. He's going to bring up Brandon Inge. It was Inge's sacrifice fly that tied the game at 2 back in the 6th. Second RBI of the year for Brandon. Swinging a drive deep in the air to left field, way back. Murphy looks up, and it's another walk-off win for the Tigers.
I see you, Brandon.
His 11th career home run against Texas, and he's got a party waiting for him at home plate. Career walk-off home runs. Brandon Inge does it again here today, the hero. And the Tigers win 2 out of 3.
Looked like he got a real slow lollipop breaking ball from Rhodes, and Inge, the professional that he is, once he drilled it, he just put his head down because he knew it was gone.
It cleared the bullpen into the seats, and the bench erupts. Can't be the hero yesterday. Inge the hero today.
Inge had a little lean going there. Didn't you see him leaning?
A little low fly.
A little lean.
And a little twirl, a little pirouette in the air. Oh, what a home run by Inge. What a clutch home run by Inge with 1 out in the 9th. And right now we'll send it down to Justin White, who has our hero, Brandon Inge.
All right, guys, thanks a lot, Brandon. You guys definitely needed this win. It gives you your first series win of the year. Just how good does it feel to win this one in walk-off fashion?
Well, it's really good. Felt like we've been struggling a little bit here at home, and you never want to play bad in front of your home crowd. But to come out with a series win, especially against a team that's been pretty hot, that's pretty good for us.
You went up there looking for a pitch, and it seems like you got it. Tell me about the at-bat.
Yeah, he started me off with a couple breaking balls the other day. I ended up flying out to right field. Felt like I had a fairly decent at-bat. He's a great pitcher. He's been around for a long time, and just looking for that same pitch, a little bit more in. And fortunate enough that I got it there, was able to do something with it.
What was that little lean coming around the bases?
It's try not to blow out every muscle I got in my body right now.
How important is this when you look at the way things have gone? Like you said, you guys have struggled a bit at home. To have these 2 comeback wins in a row against the Rangers, now going on this West Coast trip, how much momentum can this guys give you?
Well, it's big. We needed to take some momentum in it because we didn't like the way we were playing, like I said earlier, in this series. So going on the West Coast, it's tough enough as it is. So we need to have some momentum going into this, and playing 2 good teams on the West Coast too. So we need to keep it rolling.
Brandon, thanks for your time. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
All right, there's Brandon Inge for the 2nd day in a row. The Tigers walk off with a win as they beat the Rangers here this afternoon. Back upstairs to you guys.
All right, Justin, thank you very much. Nice job, Brandon Inge, for the game winner here tonight as the Tigers win it over the Texas Rangers. Take 2 out of 3, and we've got more from Comerica in a moment.